Hello, my dear friends. Today I continue to bring you a very interesting story. Prepare your seats, fasten your seat belts, and let's go. Jason stood in front of the sleek glass display case, gazing at an extensive collection of firearms. The display was composed of 4 connected cabinets, brightly lit to showcase over 100 handguns. On the far left were .22 caliber pistols, including magazine-fed models and 6-shot revolvers favored by target shooters. Some were compact, with barrels under 2 inches, while others stretched up to a foot. Jason contemplated the destructive power of these small lead projectiles. Moving to the right, he noticed a row of .25 caliber handguns. One of them, a chrome-plated model, caught his eye. However, Jason judged that these lacked sufficient stopping power unless used at very close range. As he progressed to the .32 and .38 caliber section, he examined a stainless steel handgun and a black, pocket-sized model, each equipped with 5-round magazines. Eventually, Jason reached the larger firearms that suited his purpose. Recalling the police's historical preference for .38s due to their effectiveness, he understood their deadly potential. He then focused on the 9mm handguns, a collection of 15 models, including revolvers, magazine-fed options, and even a single-shot variant. These 9mm firearms were larger than the .38s, less concealable, but undeniably powerful. Beneath the display, leather holsters in brown and black waited to complement the weapons, most of which had a polished blue steel finish. A few models sported chrome or matte black designs. The sight of these weapons reminded Jason of his time in the Air Force, stationed in Germany, when he last handled a firearm. He noted a distinct .44 Magnum with a long barrel reminiscent of Dirty Harry, alongside a .357 Magnum and a Western-style antique .40 caliber revolver. These, however, seemed more intimidating than practical. Opting for a 9mm, Jason finalized his choice. The 9mm handgun, priced at $850, was purchased using an ID and credit card that bore someone else's name and address. Items Jason had acquired for $200 from a contact in East Los Angeles. Driving his rented BMW, Jason returned 10 minutes later with the weapon secured. At another hotel in the city, Jason checked into room 925 using a separate credit card but was far more interested in the occupants of room 825 below him. The following day, after a brief rest, Jason ventured downstairs for dinner. His appearance had noticeably changed. His hair was longer, grayer, and a 4-day stubble altered his facial structure. As he half-heartedly watched a basketball game, Jason called room 25 from a house phone. Receiving no answer, he returned to his room and began setting up his equipment. From his suitcase, Jason retrieved a drill and meticulously bored a small, 9mm, wide hole through his floor into the ceiling of room 825. He had studied the building's floor plans in detail, ensuring the hole was precisely 12 inches behind the bathroom sink. The debris fell onto the carpet, likely to be vacuumed by housekeeping before the room's next use. Jason then mounted a tiny camera over the hole, connecting it to a motion sensor and monitor. That evening, the red light on the monitor signaled movement below. Jason crept into his bathroom to observe a man shaving at the sink. Shortly after, a woman entered, kissed him, and stood beside him. Both were naked, and the scene continued for over 3 minutes. Satisfied with his setup, Jason switched off the camera and prepared for bed. As he lay down, his thoughts drifted to his brother Ethan and Ethan's wife, Victoria. 3 years ago, Ethan had met Victoria, a software sales representative, at a business convention in Miami. By the event's conclusion, she had completely charmed Ethan, later leaving her job to work for him. They married within a year. Since then, Victoria had undergone cosmetic surgery and presented the image of a devoted wife whenever it suited Ethan's PR campaigns. However, 2 weekends prior, Jason had witnessed a crack in this perfect facade. While waiting for a business meeting in Orange County, he saw Victoria walk into a hotel lobby, soon joined by Ethan's business partner, Paul. The two registered together and took the elevator to the 6th floor. Curious, Jason used his access to the hotel's reservation system during his meeting and discovered that Victoria had checked in under her name, but Paul hadn't. A deeper search confirmed that these clandestine meetings were not isolated incidents. Jason had tracked their pattern, different hotels 2 or 3 times a week for the past month. He debated whether to tell Ethan during dinner. Instead, he brought up a subtle story about a wealthy businessman whose wife's infidelity had cost him millions in a divorce. Ethan's reaction was chilling. "If that were me, I wouldn't divorce her. I'd want her dead." Jason decided it was better to keep his knowledge to himself for the time being. Before leaving the hotel that night, Jason carefully covered his tracks. He scattered a packet of powdered material around the room, ensuring DNA from over 20 individuals would contaminate the scene. Next, he strategically placed 10 bundles of short hairs he'd collected from discarded vacuum bags at various medical facilities. By the time he reached the elevator, Jason discreetly removed his gloves and slipped them into his pocket. Later that day, Jason returned his rented BMW at the airport. To avoid suspicion, he spent hours alternating between terminals, Terminal 1 for Southwest Airlines and Terminal 7 for United Airlines, carefully changing his clothes in different restrooms to eliminate any detectable patterns. By Friday, he leased a new vehicle and drove to a gun store nearly 80 miles away to collect the 9mm handgun he had purchased under the name Jack Williams of Canoga Park. Jason checked back into room 925, timing his arrival perfectly after the housekeeping staff had finished cleaning the 8th floor. Confident there was no trace of his earlier activities, he repeated the same setup, drilling a precise hole in the ceiling of room 825 below. He watched as a cleaner meticulously vacuumed and wiped down every surface. Satisfied, Jason prepared for the next phase. From a secluded spot behind a cluster of plants in the hotel lobby, Jason positioned a hidden camera inside the foliage, linked to his laptop for real-time surveillance. To maintain the illusion of working, he kept a spreadsheet open on his computer in case anyone approached. At 5:10 p.m., Jason's patience paid off. He observed Ethan's business partner, Paul, arriving with Victoria, Ethan's wife. The way she clung to Paul's arm left no doubt about the nature of their relationship. The two carried only a single small suitcase as they checked in and disappeared into the elevator. Jason quietly returned to his room. From his vantage point, Jason called Ethan. "Hey, Ethan, it's me, Jason," he began casually. "Just wanted to let you know I'll be out of town for a week. Got a consulting gig in Chicago, leaving in about 30 minutes. I'll call you when I get there." Then, steering the conversation carefully, he added, "Things aren't great on my end. I've been getting a feeling. I think Victoria might be cheating. Nothing solid, just a hunch." Ethan hesitated before responding. "She told me she's at a charity event in Orange County," he said. "Maybe I should call Peter, the PI, to check it out." Jason agreed, offering encouragement while mentally locking in the final details of his plan. As night fell, Jason used his covert camera to monitor the activity in room 825. He observed Victoria and Paul entering the bathroom together, and the two shared a passionate kiss in front of the mirror, oblivious to the danger lurking above. Waiting for the perfect moment, Jason switched the camera for his handgun, ensuring he left no gunshot residue on himself. Steadying his aim, he fired 2 quick, precise shots. The muffled sound startled him but didn't break his composure. Without pausing to confirm his success, Jason swiftly disassembled his setup, packed his gear, and erased any trace of his presence, leaving behind only the inevitable consequences of his actions. The following morning, news broke of a shocking event. Paul Samuels had been shot and killed, and the woman with him was gravely injured. From the road, Jason called Ethan. "Ethan, Paul Samuels? Is that your Paul Samuels? I just heard the news." "Yes," came Ethan's flat, emotionless reply. Jason pressed, "They said a woman was with him. Do you know who she was?" After a long pause, Ethan admitted, "It was Victoria. They were in a hotel bathroom together when someone shot them. The police think it was a professional hit. I don't know what to say." In the days that followed, the truth about Paul's hidden dealings came to light. He had been embezzling funds from Ethan's business for over a year and was heavily indebted to loan sharks. Jason expressed his condolences and added, "I'll come back as soon as I can." Ethan, still in shock, replied, "I haven't been to the hospital yet. Still trying to wrap my head around it." Jason advised, "Don't go alone. And you shouldn't drive in this state." Despite surviving the attack, Victoria suffered severe injuries. Disfiguring scars marred her once perfect face, and she lost a breast as a result. The authorities never identified the perpetrator. When Ethan filed for divorce, Victoria did not contest it. She quietly moved into a modest apartment that Ethan financed until the divorce was finalized. Years later, while on a fishing trip, Ethan cryptically remarked to Jason, "It's amazing how well everything turned out." His tone was ambiguous, leaving Jason to wonder if Ethan was referring to the fish they were catching or something far deeper. As the saying goes, blood is thicker than water. Their unspoken understanding remained unbreakable, a bond forged in loyalty and shared secrets. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. For more meaningful stories, please subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. See you in the next stories.